Hey, MCARBO brother, I'm Chris Nelson, President of MCARBO. Really excited to introduce a new grip enhancement for your KEL-TEC KSG shotgun. A lot of these polymer grips, everything else you're seeing on the market these days, they don't add a lot of good grip. So when you're shooting this bullpup shotgun, you got a ton of ammo that you're throwing down range. You don't want your hand moving around like that. It's one of the primary shooting fundamentals. You can't have a sloppy grip and expect to be accurate. So we've got a great way to easily improve the grip on your KEL-TEC KSG shotgun. Let's get on over tabletop, take a look at what we got. As always, let's just make sure they're clear. Check the chamber, check the bolt face, check the magazine tubes, the shotgun's clear. Parts and tools needed for this build: the KEL-TEC KSG rubber adhesive grips by MCARBO. Comes with the complete grip wrap here, and then a back strap fitting for the back of the grip, and then an alcohol prep pad. We're gonna need that to kind of clean up the surface area before we start putting the adhesive on, and then a hair dryer preferably, or a heat gun. I say hair dryer because you really can't screw it up, you can't melt anything here, but a heat gun will work too, just be careful. All right, so we get started by popping open our kit here, and you'll see that you've got your grip, and you got the back strap here. All right, this is a cool feature. Love having that extra grip there in the web of the hand, especially on top. Really helps keep everything stable, left, right, top, bottom. Obviously the alcohol prep wipe here, we're gonna use that just to get it nice and clean. Before we do anything though, let's go ahead and check and make sure that we got the right size. All right, you just wanna visually kind of line everything up and make sure this is a good fit. Yep, looks good. Now we're gonna go ahead and take our alcohol wipe and just wipe it down really good. You want to scrub it, get everything out of all those little nooks and crannies there. This is going to remove any kind of oil, grease, dirt, dust, you name it. And you'll be surprised actually. You may think that, well, it's brand new, it can't be dirty. Well, you start getting stuff like this and you'll be pretty amazed once you start seeing that alcohol wipe turning black. Because you got to think, even if it is brand new, they test fired at the factory, you know, somebody's assembling it, they're probably not washing their hands in between guns that they're assembling, so there's naturally going to be some grease, some dirt. Get that back strap good. And the top portion here, because we're going to be sticking that back strap there, and this bottom edge around the pistol grip. Especially the edges. You know, that's where you're going to have, if you're going to have any issues, that's where they start, is the edges. So you'll see, you know, during this application technique, we're going to make sure we really focus on getting good adhesion with the edges. And you'll know you're done whenever your little prep wipe is pretty much no longer intact. But you know, a good couple minutes just wiping it down like crazy, then just let it air dry. Don't towel it off. You're just going to add lint to the grip, and then that's going to cause problems as well. Air dry. Let's come back in a minute or two. All right, now that we let it dry, let's go ahead and take our heat gun or hair dryer, preferably hair dryer. I'm running this heat gun in low. All right, we're just going to heat it up. This is also going to help speed up the drying process. But most importantly, it's going to give a good warm base for that adhesive to stick to, which that's what really does the magic there, is that adhesive is activated under heat, and it'll do a nice job really contouring all these little features here, getting in between them and sticking, which is very important on adhesive grips. So going to get it nice and warmed up here. If you got any kind of lint or anything like that from that little alcohol wipe, you want to make sure that it's pretty much gone. Just wipe it off with your hands there. All right, kind of feeling it along the way to make sure it's getting nice and warm. You want it about 130 degrees, which is the temperature of a hot cup of coffee. You got your hands around it, you can feel how warm that usually is. That's the temp you're going for. You know, also heating up the back strap area here. Oh yeah, it's getting warm. If you've got a heat gun, you really got to be extra careful. You know, I'm running mine on low. Not all heat guns have a temp setting. That's why the hair dryer is preferred. All right, it's good and warm now. All the alcohol's dried off, evaporated, so we're good to go. And leave that heat gun running because it's got a cool down cycle. It's pretty loud. So we'll go ahead and we're gonna take our grip. All right, we're gonna peel it off. The key here is to avoid touching the edges. You wanna touch the center if possible. You know, obviously you're gonna have to touch the edge here and there, but if we wear out the adhesive stickiness on the edges, then we're gonna have problems. So touch the center, there's plenty of adhesive around it, you know, to keep it all intact. And what we'll do is we're gonna line up one side of the grips first, but the cool thing is we just kind of almost tack it in place. You just dab it a little bit, and then the most important aspect is lining up the center. And you can pull it a little bit. You know, you don't really want to stretch it, but you can kind of pull it to wrap it, if that makes any sense. All right. And then just kind of tacking it in place. And look at that. I mean, it pretty much aligned itself. Real easy. Perfect. I mean, these are really nicely done. These are laser cut. We spent a lot of time making sure that it would be a perfect fit. So all I'm doing now is just kind of smoothing out the top of the side grips. I'm not getting the backstrap area just yet. I'm leaving that somewhat loose. And then I'm just kind of coming around the edges. Also making sure here in the center that we've got good adhesion here. Pressing down, just kind of feeling my way through it, making sure there's no air bubbles. Now we can focus on that backstrap area. We're just kind of incrementally smoothing it along, making sure that we don't leave any ripples. You can see we've got these little notch cut features here to make sure that it wraps perfectly and it doesn't leave you hanging there with some sort of ripple. So a lot of time went into designing these and making sure they would be simple to install and last a lifetime, which is the goal. Now we've also got that 50% warranty replacement, which is a wear and tear replacement. So these will last a long time, but you know, we don't want to leave you hanging either. So we want to make sure you're covered. So you bought one from us. Well, you need a replacement down the road. It's pretty ratty, you've worn it out, you've used it. Well, it's only gonna cost you 50% of what you initially paid for it. So it's kind of like a cost replacement, more or less. Just keep you in the game, keep you running and gunning, man. So that's what we're all about. Keeping everybody happy and keeping them coming back. You know, that's the goal. So now we got our backstrap here. We're just gonna lay it inside. So this circular portion is gonna be up top. And once you get that centered, you know, when you're tacking it down, that's the nice thing. You're not really committed just yet. You can still move it around as needed. So little circular portions up top. You want to make sure that that circle is on the flat part right there. And then as you start to take that bend in the grip, you should have that little narrow portion on the bend. And then from there, you're really just centering up the rest of the backstrap in between the grip wrap. All right, and then once you're happy with it, just press it down nice and solid. All this is doing is just filling in that gap on the wrap. But a very important part, I mean, that backstrap's gonna give you a lot of grip, especially right here on the top webbing of your hand. Really love that aspect. All right, good. So we're nice and gripped up. Now we can put some heat on it. And what we'll do is we'll heat it up and then we'll grip the crap out of it. We'll do that 3 times. And that's gonna give it that nice adhesion. This adhesive really reacts well under heat. You know, that's the key element right there, is it's gonna bond, contour, get into all those little crevices, and you'll see it. It's gonna shape really nicely. That gator grip's gonna come through here in a second. So start heating. You know, check the temperature as you're going. We're heating, not melting. If you start smelling something burning, you need to keep moving. But that's the other thing too. So the 50% replacement cost, you know, lifetime wear and tear warranty, that covers installation as well. So if you just completely screw this up and you're like, man, I don't want to pay, you know, full price again, well, you're good. All you got to do is just, you know, fold it up, throw it in an envelope with a stamp and mail it back to us, and then we'll send you a replacement. All right, now we're going to get the back strap area. Heat gun, you got to be a little bit more careful. You know, you run the risk of burning stuff. Hair dryer, you're good. No worries. But getting it nice and hot. And then we're going to really grip it. All right, so now let's go ahead and just really grip on it. Yeah, it feels good. All right, just two-hand grip all the way around. You're just trying to make sure, look at that, already coming through there. Just like magic, love it. That's good visual there that you've got a nice solid contoured grip. That adhesive is really doing some work. And then the next round, we're gonna focus on the edges. So this is just the initial to make sure we get a good grip. Everything starts to get some good initial adhesion. And then we're gonna focus on making sure those edges and everything else get some good attention. All right, there we go. Let's heat it up again. It's starting to look really nice. Getting that back strap good. And if you're running a heat gun too, you got to be real careful. That metal tip on that heat gun is going to be hot. So if you hit the grip, you're likely going to melt it. So hair dryer recommended. All right, good. Now let's go ahead and grip it again. Should be nice and warm, kind of like that hot cup of coffee. Oh man, yeah, that's solid. And now we're going to go around the grip, focusing on those edges. Anywhere there might be a seam could be a potential weak point. So we want to make sure that it's got full adhesion to the grip. This is definitely the time to be thorough. All right, good. Give it a nice good grip again. Really want to make sure everything's nice and solid. Back strap included. Yeah, that's solid. Feels good. All right, we're gonna do one more just to be safe. Third time's a charm. You can see too, we also left the holes there for your takedown pins. Just want to make sure we don't impede any sort of inherent functionality in the firearm, so adding grip is a must without subtracting anything. You're going to love these grips. So this is a proprietary material and adhesive specifically for polymer frames. And we had to get this custom from the mill, which is pretty cool. Took a lot of digging, a lot of research, you know, working with them to figure out what kind of blend would be most effective in a firearm application, especially where there's going to be gun oil for cleanings, and there's going to be dirt, and there's going to be all kinds of different debris expected. Not to mention just getting that good initial adhesion to the polymer, very critical. So really excited to see you guys' feedback on these. Love the textured rubber, feels great. You know, sweaty hands, wet hands, greasy hands. You know, a lot of times you get that CLP on your hands, it doesn't really just come off with a wipe of a towel. It stays in there pretty good on your fingers. All right, nice and hot. Last time, oh yeah. You can see it coming right through, all that gator grip. Just really good time to squeeze it, both hands. Make sure you're getting a good bite on that grip with that adhesive. And this is what you're looking for right here. When this texturing shows through on the polymer, that's solid. And then just double check your seams and you're good to go. Let it cool down for about 20 minutes. You know, don't start trying to peel it or anything like that. I wouldn't recommend trying to peel it anyway, but definitely let it cool down because it is hot. It needs to be nice and cool before you really start playing around with it. But if you want to keep gripping it while it's cooling, that's a great idea. Make sure it's got good adhesion. That won't hurt. I just mean don't be throwing it in and out of a bag or a case, anything that could possibly snag an edge. Let's make sure it gets completely cooled first. All right, man, there it is. Oh, that feels amazing. Now that is some grip right there. Well, there you go, guys. A phenomenal way to improve your grip performance on your KSG shotgun. You know, you're putting a lot of rounds down range. There's gonna be a lot of shock. Your hands are naturally gonna shift. Now with some grip, that's gonna be a lot harder for that shock to really move that hand. So a nice solid firm grip while you're throwing rounds down range is a must to be accurate. It's gonna really help improve that inherent accuracy of the firearm, really making the shooter much more capable of getting every little bit of performance out of your KSG. Love it, highly recommend. Give it a shot. Easy to do, 5 minutes, custom proprietary material, phenomenal grip, man. Really love this. And the 50% wear and tear lifetime guarantee, can't beat it. It's easy, we got your back no matter what. Are you gonna have a problem with your grip? We're gonna replace it, 50% of the retail cost. Simple. There you go, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Really simple, fast, phenomenal installation on your KEL-TEC KSG grips. Thank you, MCARBO Brotherhood, for your ideas and your support. And as always, happy shooting.